There is now a belief that Pan-Africanism cannot succeed in Africa for various reasons, some of which I've already mentioned. But true, can it succeed? Possibly it may succeed if it's given a chance. But if not given that chance, Pan-Africanism will never succeed. It will simply remain something to talk about and maybe, once in a while celebrate, but without real results. Why? As I've indicated, the numerous languages, the Francophone, Anglophone, Arabic, the various cultures in the country, we are too diverse as Africa to come together to have one common thing. But most important is the operation of foreign influence in Africa. The Western countries have their agenda, and it's very simple. All they want to do is sell something in this market and make a profit in it. And they will control that in various ways. So how can you rescue Pan-Africanism? And is it possible? To some extent, yes, but largely Pan-Africanism will simply be a dream. There has been a school of thought that has said maybe Pan-Africanism should be an ideology. Can Africa come up with its own ideology? Of course, that is not something to talk about, because it will not happen. Because ideology really is how society should govern itself. So given the diversity, the Arab North, the Francophone, the Anglophone, South Africa, and the influence of the West in these countries in various ways, definitely there is no way in which Pan-Africanism can survive. But there are some practical steps that can be taken. First of all is to agree on an African-wide agenda on what I would call development objectives. And I'll just put emphasis on one simple thing: education. Let every African child be educated. And more important, let the African girl child be educated. This is going to address many issues in Africa and indeed globally. It will address the issue of poverty in the long run, and it will address the issue of the economics of the country in the long run. To me, education is fundamental in bringing people together, because I've traveled the world and I met Japanese, I met Americans, Germans, French, and what brings us together is the ability to understand one another in one language. So that language can be achieved through education. So education is something very important, and it's universal, it must be given, and there's no query about it. The second one, of course, would have been the language. Those countries, for instance, where Swahili has some influence in the East African region, Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Southern Sudan, Congo, Malawi, Zambia, it's possible that Swahili could be developed as one common language. And if that is part of the starting points in Pan-Africanism, then that common language can be used for business and can bring people together. One of the reasons why the Tanzanians are such a closely knit society with so much discipline is because of language. Thanks to Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, that he was able to, despite the many tribes in Tanzania, they all speak Swahili. And in a country like Uganda, where we don't speak Swahili, you find that we are still more divided than in Tanzania. So language is the second aspect in the bid for Pan-Africanism. The third is not so easy. The various economic organizations like the East African Community, ECOWAS, SADC, PTA, the Financial Area, coming together to agree on a common agenda of merging the objectives and merging their governance issues so that you can have one economic unit that is coming together to cooperate together in the African context. However, having said that, if you are able to unite these countries to have one common agenda in terms of the economic patterns, then if the countries are weak, the developed countries will take advantage of that. But with such a huge market, can't this market produce a vehicle? Can't we even produce a bicycle? Can't we produce chocolate? Can't we produce coffee for such a huge market? If you want a cup of coffee, Nestle is it. Nestle is a European company. to serve this huge African market of people who have come together. These are the dynamics that are making Pan-Africanism fail. The economics of the region must be agreed upon, and there must be initiative by the African countries themselves to go into business. If we don't go into business, if we do not at least take part ownership, buy shares in Colgate, buy shares in some of these companies, so that you have some part ownership, because it's not going to be very easy for you to go out and outcompete the existing companies. So Pan-Africanism can only succeed if we fix the economic aspects of integration. The politics is going to be much more difficult. The politics is going to be much more difficult. Why did Britain get out of the European Union? The politics of it. They can't see themselves being ruled by people from Europe. So how can Nigerians see themselves being ruled by people from another country? How can Ugandans see themselves as being ruled by people from another country? So there will be need for these countries to eat humble pie and agree that yes, the better leader in the region can become the leader in the region. But my friend, that's not something easy that we're going to see. So the debate on Pan-Africanism still rages on, and it may simply be a theory.